And greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, and loving life. I want to remind everybody, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. There is a PayPal link down there for anybody who wants to share some love. Every little bit is appreciated. And the StreamYard link is down there for anybody who wants to join the panel. Today we're talking about Mr. Pipsqueak. We're going to review a video of a young man that has inspired me to do a better job myself. Because this is exactly what I'm talking about, folks. Education is key. And education at a young age of knowing exactly what's going on and being able to use your own discernment to then express what you are observing in a most truthful light. And again, this is from a young 12-year-old boy. Bad Barney No Bullet says, Mr. P.S. and Mom are awesome team. This is the first time I've even seen his video. So link is down in the details. Go check him out. But we're going to review this video that he did. And I find it an excellent, excellent breakdown. Better than any First Amendment auditor I've seen so far or reviewer. And I hope to impress upon people. Again, this is exactly what I'm talking about. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Therefore, the benefit is the knowledge. And if you teach your children young, teach your children yourself, evidently in team with his mom, which I could only conclude that he had help from both mom and dad, because generally young children don't do this kind of stuff. And so I'm going to express my great gratitude for mom and dad here as well. They are evidently doing an excellent job, despite anything that they might be indoctrinated into themselves. The outcome here is, I hope, going to be exponential in the younger generation, hoping that other people of his generation will listen to him as a leader in knowledge and wisdom, not as a leader in authority or administration, but knowledge and wisdom. The key to education is autodidactism. Learn to learn yourself. So let's take a look at Mr. Pipsqueak. And the Toccoa Home Depot police scandal. Home Depot police scandal.
A cop named Donnie Nelson heard this guy making a political comment in the Home Depot and followed him to his truck, which itself is pretty messed up. According to his personnel file, Nelson immigrated to the U.S. from Trinidad and Tobago.
And I have this on slow play because this young man, I've got it on 3/4 speed because this man speaks very quickly. Very speedy speaker.
He's only lived in Tacoma for the past few years. Back in 2021, Nelson was working as a jailer in Stevens County but quit, and Sheriff Randy Shirley marked his personnel file not eligible for rehire. We don't know why he did, but this suggests that Nelson shouldn't have been working in law enforcement by the time of Home Depot. Despite this, Shirley rehired Nelson as
not eligible for rehire. And despite it not being eligible for rehire, he rehired him. Now, if that's their policy, then what do you think they think about the law? If their policy applies to them but doesn't apply to them, does the law apply to them but doesn't apply to them? You see the insanity here, folks?
a patrol deputy in November 2021. In his less than 3 years of experience on patrol, Nelson was a repeated disciplinary problem. Nelson was so aggressive on the job that even the fire department chief emailed the sheriff to complain of multiple instances of Nelson's hostile attitude toward firefighters. He wrote, "We cannot volunteer our time for this county and be verbally abused any further by this deputy." Nelson's Nelson's police report claims he went to the Home Depot to use the bathroom. Video shows he was shopping on the job. Police told the newspapers that the guy threatened and cussed him in the Home Depot. Home Depot workers say,
I did not hear profanity.
No threats, though.
Not that I'm aware of.
his body camera was apparently also off, so we'll never know exactly what was said in the Home Depot. Here's another Home Depot employee who affirms Freeman didn't cuss or threaten the deputy.
I didn't hear any threat. I don't remember any cussing.
The judge has already ruled that the guy had a right to free speech and can't be charged with anything he said. Nelson claimed that the manager of the Home Depot asked him to give the guy a criminal trespass warning. Home Depot's employees say,
Do you know why Officer Nelson left the store and followed Freeman to the parking lot?
I do not know.
Justin Freeman is a father, church elder, private educator, and native of Habersham County.
See, an upstanding man, I imagine much like his own mom and dad here, Mr. Pipsqueak's mom and dad, this gentleman, an upstanding man in the community. And this is the kind of games they play because the law applies to thee and not to me. But what law is it that they're trying to impose? See, they're not enforcing law. They're enforcing their feelers and emotions and their political dichotomies. That's it. It's all a big popularity contest. And the more they get for their quota, or the more they make their quota, the more they get for it.
He's been married to one woman since 2011, with whom he has 7 kids, all of whom are homeschooled. Freeman has a background in both music education and software development, and
all of whom are homeschooled. See, this is the kind of people I'm talking about, taking back your responsibility in my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Therefore, the true benefit is the knowledge, and therefore, if you really want your children to have that benefit, you must assure that. You must take that responsibility and not give it up.
Up until 2024, he was owner and headmaster of the School of Future Arts in Clarksville, where he taught gifted homeschoolers how to play music, make video games, and build robots. As a church leader, he's been preaching weekly since 2016, and there's an online database of hundreds of his sermons you can hear for yourself. Freeman is also a farmer. He runs the Dell, a small farm in Clarksville that produces a little bit of everything from goat milk to honey to grapes. Freeman is also well known as a political activist and outspoken critic of abuses by the police. In 2017, he argued
outspoken critic about abuses by the police. So when you speak out against them, they start creating their own law enforcement for their feelers, emotions, and political dichotomy because you're ruining their popularity. Just like we saw in the video yesterday where the lady, the good cop, said that they're saying fuck the police more. Absolutely, because the police are fucking the people more. What do you expect?
before the Georgia Supreme Court in defense of the right of church leaders to criticize the government, winning a major free speech battle for Christians. More recently, the Northeast Georgian published Freeman's criticisms of local police and courts. In 2023, they quoted Freeman's criticism of court backlogs, with Freeman saying things like, "We have a constitutional and legal right to a speedy trial, and the courts have a duty to give us that." And
we touched on that in yesterday's video as well. If they pack the courtrooms full of traffic citations, and there's no police officers in that room to testify, then what good are the cases? When the people realize that they're not supposed to be able to do this stuff unless they're allowed to confront their accusers, and then their accusers don't show up, and they just run them through the court gamut anyway. You have to understand how this system works so you can speak out against it. And then when you speak out against it, it forces them to come to that table and put their testicles on that table and speak out their lies some more. This is Matthew 18, verses 15 through 20. This is your process.
And it is unfortunate that our prosecutors are of such ethical quality as to intentionally attempt to bully innocent people into entering false guilty pleas. That will only end when prosecutors.
The false guilty pleas, because there is no accuser. The officer giving you the citation on the side of the road is neither the servicer nor can he be the complainant. The complainant is listed as the state or the municipality or the county. He cannot be the accuser for that entity which he works for. That's bias right from the beginning. Then he hands it over to another authoritarian figure. Again, biased in their process.
Lose absolute immunity and face real accountability. He also criticized police for failing to create video and audio recordings for traffic stops and for making fake traffic stops. In 2023, Freeman said, it would behoove the police to stop maliciously writing frivolous citations which they can't prove, but obviously they won't do that so long as writing citations yields them a financial benefit.
That they can't prove, won't prove, but the people will still line up and go to court volunteering their personal jurisdiction without knowing so, and therefore granting the automatic guilty or not guilty situation without even referencing whether you're innocent or not. See, this is something else I try to explain people. They say you have the right to an attorney in that Miranda rights. No, the Constitution says you have the right to assistance of counsel. So when they change the words, you better be paying attention. They mean something different.
And brings them no meaningful consequences. We desperately need accountability for law enforcement. So that's Justin Freeman. He's a homeschool dad, church leader.
Greetings, John. How you doing today, brother?
Hello, Brother Keith. How you doing?
I am well. We got the doors and windows open, enjoying a nice weather day today.
Okay, I just joined you. I don't know what the topic is.
Well, we've got this young man, Mr. Pipsqueak, here. He's 12 years old, and he's doing a review of a police video and breaking it down, and he's doing an excellent job. And so I was telling the people this is exactly what I'm talking about with Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Therefore, we must take hold of that education part and quit giving it up to the public education system. And it seems here we have a mom and dad that are doing exactly that, and they've got their son involved in the proper education of what's actually going on in this political diorama. So we're reviewing this and giving kudos to the young man and his mom and dad, and certainly the guy in the video for homeschooling his children. Great example of what we need to get back to. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, Keith, totally. You know, one trick they play on the kids, and it's really, I don't mean this like literally, but they always put police in the classrooms to teach the kids the law or something. Remember that one?
Well, they don't teach them the law. They teach them that the police are the authority and they have to listen to them,
Well,
and that they're heroes,
oh,
and that's why you
yeah.
listen to them. And that's all
Okay,
false.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I meant to say. Right. It's just a false, you know,
Build up.
impersonation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a false buildup. It's part of the indoctrination.
Okay. Let's shoot it.
Yep. And Hank Oflamio says, my parents were too stupid to fight their tickets. And that's the problem. That's what I'm talking about. People are stupid today. We have a American populace with an average reading comprehension of 8th grade. Do you think that could be a great nation if the average reading comprehension is 8th grade? You would expect a great nation to have an average reading comprehension of much higher, don't you think? Particularly in order to graduate from high school, it's 12th grade.
Yeah.
So 2/3 of that comprehension is not good.
But Brother Keith,
Community.
part of the reason that is happening about the reading comprehension is because they did it to the kids, like with the look-see method and whole language. They gutted the way the kids learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's, and again, that's the foundation of learning the language. Isaiah 54:17. If you're going to rise up, or if you're going to condemn anybody that rises up in false judgment against you, then you have to learn those tongues that they're speaking in. You have to learn the words. That's what I first started thinking about when that judge sat on that bench and said, "Do you understand English?" And I vehemently said yes, because I was in that court to let no tongue rise up against me. I was there to condemn those tongues. Then I realized, after thinking about that, and I thought about it for several days, and it just kept hitting me, and I kept reading it, and then I realized, let no tongue prosper, or let no tongue rise up against, or I got to get this verbatim, because I do not want to misportray it, because it is so important to understand the language itself. And in
Right.
Isaiah 54:17, it says, "No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn." So every tongue that rises against you, you have to learn the language of those tongues. You have to learn those words. And that's why I say you have to understand your right to seek counsel is not, you have a right to be represented by an attorney. That's different words, it's different language. Understand that they are not speaking to you in the language you think.
The defender of the faith and of the rights of the people. So the cop follows this guy out to the parking lot, and the guy backs up his truck to leave. Nelson claimed
And he backed that red truck up like he about to hit me.
video shows clearly he didn't. You can see in security video the guy comes nowhere near hitting the cop.
Yeah, he's this is him right here, and he's actually walking this way and then stops and turns around.
The cop is at least 15 feet away
See?
and not in line of truck.
And so he's at least 2 parking spots away. That's 15, 20 feet. Easy.
Trucks travel. In fact, you can see it from 2 angles. Despite that, the cop pulled the guy over and arrested him. Then the police told the news that this guy backed up aggressively and almost hit the deputy. They charged him with assault, claiming that he did commit an act which placed Donnie Nelson in reasonable apprehension of immediately receiving a violent injury by reversing his vehicle quickly in the direction of Donnie Nelson, which his lawyers speak for,
Which did, see, assault. And they're using language which did commit an act which placed Donnie Nelson in reasonable apprehension of immediately receiving a violent injury. Let's look at that again. Of immediately receiving violent injury. Now let's watch him walk away, turn around, and look at the truck.
cop is at least 15 feet away and not in line of trucks travel. In fact, you can see it from 2 angles.
And so as he pulled away, you can see not only did the
Farmer and pillar of the community parking lot, the guy backs up his truck to leave. Nelson claimed
And he backed that red truck up like he about to hit me.
video shows clearly he
okay, he's right in the middle of the 2 arrows. Now, as he turns around, he starts going towards this arrow as he's looking at the truck. So as the truck pulls out, comes this way, he's on the driver's side of the truck. He's over towards this white car now.
didn't.
See?
You can see in security video the guy comes nowhere near hitting the cop. The cop is at least 15 feet away and not in line of trucks travel. In fact, you can see it from 2 angles.
Not in the line of the truck's travel. Watch as we watch him. Oops.
Cop is at least 15 feet away and not in line of trucks travel. In fact, you can see it.
Now, this is him right here, where he walked towards this white truck, and now he's going to walk towards the black car. Now that he's over by this arrow, he's clearly out of the middle and on the other side, and now he's going to walk towards the truck, or the black car here.
From 2 angles. Despite that,
Then he turned around after he got to the other side of the black car and went back the way, or back towards the store. So he merely came out of the store, to have a confrontation, in my opinion. Let's make that clear.
Cop pulled the guy over and arrested him. Then the police knew this guy backed up aggressively and almost hit the deputy.
Greetings, Russ. How you doing today?
Good, my friend. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. I saw you
Good to
call.
see you as well, John. I'm sorry?
Hi, Russ.
I saw you call. It's just I've been in a pissy mood. So
Yeah, no big deal. I was kind of jammed up, but it all worked out.
oh yeah, we'll talk about it later then.
He charged him with
Right now we're reviewing a guy called Mr. Pipsqueak. He's a 12-year-old that's doing an excellent breakdown on this police corruption. And so I wanted to put this video out there and do a review of it and get some people over to his channel. So the link is down in the details section, folks. Go down, hit that, go over there, subscribe, check him out, and let him know you're paying attention to.
assault, claiming that he did commit an act which placed Donnie Nelson in reasonable apprehension of immediately receiving a violent injury by reversing his vehicle quickly in the direction of Donnie Nelson, which his lawyer speak for, trying to back over a cop. The cop made that accusation in June. Then in October, he admitted in sworn testimony that the guy hadn't even come close to hitting him, saying the closest approach of the truck was maybe about 5 feet.
And that would have been when he was pulling out of the parking lot, not the parking spot, the parking lot, where I showed you the officer went over towards the white truck. Now he's maybe 5 feet away.
He also said the backup wasn't a crime. Lawyer asked, as far as the backing up, did you swear out a warrant for that conduct? He answered, no, sir, I don't have probable cause at that time. So basically, this guy made a political statement and the cop arrested him.
Absolutely.
And now, more than 9 months later, the prosecutors are still falsely accusing the guy of trying to run over the cop, even though there's proof he didn't do it. So since that time, the cop has claimed that he had to pull the guy over for running a stop sign. There's a problem. There's no evidence he ran the stop sign. Nelson created no dash cam video, so we can't see for ourselves what happened. Deputy Nelson claimed in a court hearing that the guy ran the stop sign across from Memorial on Walmart.
And this is an interesting part here, because when he makes a description, the kid goes through and does his research and sees the maps and finds out there's no such thing.
Way. That's confusing because Walmart Way doesn't even intersect Memorial, and there's no stop sign passing Walmart Way, so it isn't clear what he was talking about.
The stop sign, this is Walmart Way up here, and this is Memorial Drive down here. And their statement at the time of this incident, let's see. It wasn't that. Let's see what he says.
So since that time, the cop has claimed that he had to pull the guy over for running a stop sign. There's a problem. There's no evidence he ran the stop sign. Nelson created no dash cam video, so we can't see for ourselves what happened. Deputy Nelson claimed in a court hearing that the guy ran the stop sign across.
So there's no firsthand knowledge.
Exactly. He doesn't even know what he's talking about, and he's trying to put it in a way that makes it sound reasonable. Ran the stop sign across from Memorial Way or Memorial Drive on Walmart Way. There's no stop sign that connect these two streets. None. Because the streets don't even connect.
From Memorial on Walmart Way. That's confusing because Walmart Way doesn't even intersect Memorial, and there's no stop sign passing Walmart Way, so it isn't clear.
So I imagine along Memorial Way, all these places might have stop signs going out into the drive, right? Same with Walmart Way. There would be a stop sign out here maybe, and a stop sign out here maybe. Because Walmart Way, that's all parking lot. It's all parking lot. Okay? So if Walmart has a stop sign on their private lot, it would be up to Walmart to press those charges. It would not be a traffic offense.
What he was talking about. If Nelson did start the chase because of stop sign, he didn't say anything about it to the 911 dispatch. All Nelson said was,
this is the same thing with your trailer parks. If you got a trailer park, notice the signs. The street signs, they're going to be a different color. They're not going to be the same color as your regular street signs. Once you leave that trailer park, Go look at the next street sign. It's going to be a different color. What that's denoting is there's private. That's a private road. So any stop signs on that road would be up to the owner of the trailer park as a private entity. It's not a postal road. That's why they have the big unit mailboxes right at the front.
Was
Attempt to make a traffic stop. On Highway 17, vehicles not stopping.
later, Freeman demanded.
And I know it sounds like some of these guys are coming across as if they're drunk, talking slow. But remember, again, because the kid talks so fast, I slowed the video down to 3/4.
What crime did I commit that initiated the stop? Name it. Name the crime. You can't, because you know there isn't one. You can't name the crime because you know there isn't one.
And when Nelson described the chase to his buddies, he said nothing about the stop sign.
He backed that red truck up like he about to hit me. So I freaking pull off, turn my blue lights on. He wouldn't freaking stop.
Here's another.
Amazing, huh?
And he wouldn't freaking stop. Well, probably because he wasn't thinking you were after him.
Yeah. Well, it's obvious that they do nothing but lie. I
Everything
mean,
comes out of their mouth.
and they expect trust from the citizens that they lie to and about. That's just ignorant.
Another one of Nelson failing to explain why he pulled Freeman over.
What you got, Donnie? What's the stop?
Me. So I freaking
Okay.
More importantly, there's why he pulled Freeman over.
Now, why has he got his gun out? Why does he have his gun out at this time? Pay attention.
What you got, Donnie?
He's walking around with his fucking gun out.
What's the stop for, Donnie?
And just so you guys, just a little hint, this guy we're talking about, D.U.M.B, he's an immigrant. He immigrated here.
Okay.
More importantly, there's no possible way that Nelson could have seen the stop sign at Memorial Drive. These videos and computer models show that Nelson was far off when the guy reached the stop sign, and thick trees make it impossible to see.
He's talking.
So there's no evidence that Freeman was far off when the guy reached.
He's talking about the stop sign right here. See, this is him coming out of the parking lot, and he's over here. There's a stop sign right here before he gets onto this road here. Walmart or Memorial Way or whatever.
The stop sign, and thick trees make it impossible to see. So there's no evidence that Freeman committed any traffic violations prior to Nelson turning his blue lights on, and Nelson didn't start making the claim until much later. After police arrested the guy, they told the news that he led them on a dangerous high-speed chase, saying he fled away driving recklessly and sped through Walmart Way onto Big A Road, hitting dangerous speeds. The guy was indicted for fleeing in traffic conditions which placed the general public
In dangerous speeds, and just like there's no dash cam, no body cam, there's no radar.
at risk of receiving serious injuries and driving in reckless disregard for the safety of persons and property. Nelson claimed video shows otherwise. This supposed chase went on for only 5 minutes and 40 seconds. In court, the officer admitted that the speed was probably about 20 miles per hour, and
Dangerous high-speed chase. Approximately 20 miles an hour. And he only pulled him away about a mile away. I would say about a mile. About a mile? Yes, sir. And again, approximate. That's 5 to 10 minutes, probably. With the speed he was going, probably at 20 miles an hour. Probably about 5 to 10 minutes, correct. Why can't they just say, yes, sir?
that they drove about a mile. Investigators claim that the cop's dash cam is inoperable, so there's no police video, but the guy's son took a cell phone video that shows him driving super slowly. And even stopped.
Oops. Cell phone video has it all.
Oh, great.
See, you can track a cell phone video so closely through the electronic system that it will tell you the speed of the vehicle it was in while the video was being taken.
Stopping for a red light.
I mean, don't you love legal enforcement? They know everything about the law.
Nelson also had to be warned repeatedly about turning off his dash and body cameras. Records show that Nelson would claim his cameras weren't working, would be issued new cameras, and then still wouldn't use them. Remember how Nelson's dash cams were supposedly inoperable at the time of the Home Depot chase? The high-speed chase to Walmart story doesn't even make sense because Tacola's Walmart is right next to the highway. Why pass the highway to go to a parking lot?
We were
But
trying to go to a safe place.
You know, it amazes me how these people sitting in these positions that are listening to all this garbage that they can't pick up it's bullshit.
Yeah, well,
It's insane.
and that's why it's important for people to do videos like this, particularly the younger generation, like Mr. Pipsqueak here. I love it. It's an eye opener for people. And like I said, it's inspired me myself to do a better job at what I'm doing. Do a greater in-depth research to show you exactly what's going on in these videos that we review. So from now on, when I do these video reviews, I'll be doing some background research first and bringing up maps and stuff just like he does. See how good I get at it.
It's where people can at least see what's happening.
Don't police advise you that if you don't feel safe being pulled over, drive slowly to a public place with lots of witnesses? Well, in Stevens County, Georgia, that will get you charged with felony, fleeing, and reckless driving.
Sharp.
Yeah, I'm sure some of it might have been choreographed by mom and dad, but this is
I'm
great
sure.
because you know it's indelible rhetoric that he won't forget. I guarantee it.
Police told the newspaper that the officer stopped his vehicle as the Tacoma police continued the pursuit and that the guy swerved his truck in the direction of the deputy, striking the deputy's cruiser head on. In a court hearing, the deputy claimed, "I stopped. He took his vehicle and he ran his vehicle straight into my driver's side door, pinned me in the vehicle." The indictment claims the guy didn't knowingly make an assault by driving his Chevrolet Colorado directly into the patrol vehicle, using his truck as a deadly weapon. But evidence shows otherwise. Seconds before the crash, an officer radioed,
I'm running my box of men.
and then video shows a patrol vehicle intentionally pulling across a row of parking spaces and directly in front of the guy's truck, causing the crash.
And notice that's the front end he hit. How did he hit his door and pin him in?
Which was really more of a fender bender. Video
Good question.
also shows the cop, completely unharmed, immediately.
Oh, look there. He's getting out of his
Look
door.
at that.
He's getting out of his door. I thought he was pinned in. Huh?
See, I think there should be a set of handcuffs thrown on that guy and right in a cage.
Absolutely. Every last one of them.
Yep.
Every last one of
Everyone
them.
involved.
Everyone
There's a
involved. Because
conspiracy to cover it up.
if they're a good cop, they'd have done their own investigation and made sure that they know what they are doing. See, those Christian scriptures says trust no man, even your coworker. And these guys trust their coworkers to cover their backs. That's why you trust no man. Because when you start trusting other men, it's merely so they'll cover your back. You fucking cowards. If you're not a man, you can't stand on your own. You got to trust another to cover your back.
Jumped out of the driver's side door and pointed a gun at the guy's innocent, unarmed 11-year-old.
He was pinned in. That's disgusting. Straight up bold lies.
What do you think, Keith? What do you think the average is that goes to these courts that are just this simple bullshit like this, but it actually ruins the other party's lives,
95%.
careers, families.
95%.
Might even be a little higher.
Son! So there you have it. Police caused the crash, and now they're trying to send an innocent man to prison to cover it up. And here's the response from Austin Greer, Georgia State Patrol. Greer responded from the south side of neighboring Habersham County. He traveled approximately 19.5 miles in 11 minutes and 37 seconds, meaning that his average rate of speed was over 100 miles per hour.
High-speed chase reported or not. 20 mile an hour or slower is what it really was. And this is the kind of response. From miles away, because one officer got butthurt in his emotions and his popularity and couldn't handle it. And like I said, you'll find out the guy's an immigrant. He wasn't born on this land. He came from somewhere else and is trying to tell you people that he has authority over you. And he has the trust of other officers that were born on this soil. When are you going to start fighting back with truth, people? Start standing up and quit volunteering out of your fear.
Sustained speeds of over 130 miles per hour for 30 seconds straight. Here's Greer running a red light. And Greer's actions were completely unnecessary. By the time Greer arrived, Nelson had long since crashed the truck, and 6 other officers had Freeman at gunpoint. And Greer wasn't the only one who drove like a madman to get to this non-event. For example, here's Jake the Punisher Palmer, C.O.W.A.R.D., weaving lanes on his way to box the guy in, which ultimately caused the crash. Here's Angel Dixon, hitting 100 miles per hour on Big A Road.
Sir, we're on the phone with GSP.
Conventional wisdom tells us that we need strict enforcement of traffic laws to keep us safe, but in this case, the cure is worse than the disease. Here, Nelson abused the traffic laws to punish a political opponent, C.O.W.A.R.D., weaving lanes on his way to box the guy in, which ultimately caused the crash.
We're on the phone with GSP.
Conventional wisdom tells us that we need strict enforcement of traffic laws to keep us safe, but in this case, the cure is worse than the disease. Conventional wisdom tells us that we need strict enforcement of traffic laws to keep us safe, but in this case, the cure is worse than the disease. Conventional wisdom tells us that we need strict enforcement of traffic laws to keep us safe, but in this case, the cure is worse than the disease. Here, Nelson abused the traffic laws to punish a political opponent.
Do you guys see what's going on there? See this hand right here? This is Officer Dondi. See the shirt? See the taser?
Punish a political opponent, and the police turned a harmless situation into a danger for everyone. We still don't have all of the GSP video. When we get it, we'll plan to show it to you. But we know this case drew officers from across Stevens, Habersham, and Franklin counties, and they, not Freeman, created danger for hundreds of people. Is all of that worthwhile? Do we want to give police excuses to punish innocent speech activity? Is it worth it to have multiple cars weaving lanes, running red lights, and driving at insane speeds and intentionally crashing cars to catch a guy who supposedly ran a stop sign? Here's Freeman, professing his faith and clearly notifying Palmer about what caused the situation.
Nah, didn't get distance with a long rifle.
We don't believe in trying to stop people and back up for no reason. Only because they're anti-police being. That's what
Freeman also warned Palmer that he was not obligated to comply with an unlawful arrest. Did you know it's legal to resist an unlawful arrest in Georgia? I'm not a lawyer, so don't take it as legal advice. But in 2020, the Georgia
It's illegal to resist an unlawful arrest.
Supreme Court ruled in a case called Glenn versus the state that an unjustified arrest is just plain old kidnapping and that Georgians have a common law right to resist. So this guy is charged with felony fleeing, but the court said that man has a right to shun an illegal arrest by flight. The exercise of this right should not and would not subject him to being arrested. An officer could not attempt an illegal arrest and then justify the attempt on the ground that the person would not stand still but ran away. So if the cop had no reason to make a traffic stop, in theory it is legal to run away. And Georgians don't have to run because they have the right to fight. OCGA 16-321A says that a Georgian can use force that he reasonably believes is necessary to defend himself or a third person. Of course, in Glenn, an unlawful arrest is an assault that justifies the person in breaking away, resisting, and repelling force with force. That includes by destroying government property. So when police used their cars to box Freeman in theory he had a right to destroy those cars to escape. He also had a right to fight the police after they pointed guns at him and his son.
He not only had a right to point, he not only had a right to fight him, he had a right, if he had a gun, to point and shoot himself. I don't suggest this, but it does happen. There's another case I just watched a video where they did an unlawful search warrant, walked in and shot the guy 10 times, and he fired back and injured a couple of the officers. And they've got him hemmed up right now. He just got out on an $800,000 bond. But yeah, same situation. These police have no authority to be doing what they're doing. Go ahead, brother.
Can you get arrested for resisting arrest?
That's what we're talking about here. The premise that they can arrest you for resisting arrest is a false concept, because the only way you can resist an arrest is if you are part of that association. They're not supposed to be arresting people outside of policy. So if the policy is attached, and this is why I call people bitch-ass slaves for carrying around that ID, because that's the policy. It's a minimum state contract or contact in a contract form. Ja Healing, welcome. This is Mr. Pipsqueak. His link is down in the details section of the video, brother. And the link is down there if you want to come join the panel. But this is basically the whole premise, folks. We have to learn what the law is ourselves so we can condemn that false judgment, that false judgment of guilty or non-guilty, when in fact nobody's placating anything about innocent. Those are different terms, and we have to understand the language is what we're fighting, not the people, the language that they use.
What crime did I commit that initiated the stop? Name it. Name the crime. You can't, because you know there isn't one. You can't name the crime because you know there isn't one.
Under Georgia law, that means it's time to fight. Okay, we're going to listen to the 911 call from the guy in the Home Depot parking lot. It speaks for itself.
There are at least 6 officers pointing guns at me right now.
Okay.
I was at Home Depot. I made a statement that was in opposition to the police. I walked out to my car. I got into my car and tried to leave. A police officer who was in the Home Depot, he is a black male. He has a bald head. He has his glasses on top of his head. He is pointing a gun at my face right now. Came out and got my license plate number while I was pulling out and leaving. He then started to follow my vehicle, and he initiated...
Okay, sir.
And remember, that's what I was mentioning earlier when he walked out of the store down the middle of the parking lot. And then when the guy pulled out, he walked over to his right towards the white truck. And then when the guy pulled out, he walked back towards the store, which is probably where his car was parked. He was out there getting a license plate number, folks.
Sir, I would like to advise you to comply with the officers, okay?
The officers, listen to me.
Of course you would. You're part of the association. You've been indoctrinated too, even as a dispatch. You don't know the true job of a dispatcher is the transfer of jurisdiction. Understand that, folks. The dispatcher is the one that allows the people from the other counties to come in and make the call. The dispatcher is the one that has the contract with the postal service for those postal roads.
Officers made an unlawful stop. I am not obligated to respond to unlawful orders. This is clearly an intentional attack on me and my child because we expressed anti-police sentiment. And you can now see exactly why we are.
He said all you have to do is step out and speak with them.
They started chasing me around C.O.W.A.R.D.S. I was driving slowly looking for a place that I could pull over safely where there could be witnesses to
Sir.
attack
Sir.
my living was taking place.
Sir.
Pulled into the Home Depot parking lot.
Justin.
The officers crashed into
Justin.
Here's 911 dispatch, relaying the facts to all officers, and Palmer ordering them to disconnect the call.
His advisement of unlawful stop. He is not obligated to respond to unlawful. He wants his lawyer.
10-4. Just end it so we can try to talk to him. Dispatch, if you're still on the phone, hang up the phone with him.
After the
Dispatcher, if you're on the phone, hang up the phone with him.
What was that tattoo on that cop's arm? The hell did that say?
The Punisher.
Something about the cross.
The Punisher.
Yeah, I saw that one, but I'm talking about on the other one.
Oh, well, let me
Something
take a look.
about a cross.
Greetings, brother. How you doing today, Yah Healing?
Greetings, brother. Cool show.
Let's see. I don't know if I can read all of that.
The bottom is definitely something for the cross.
Yeah.
10-4.
I think they ought to pass a new law that if these guys are criminal like that, they lose them limbs.
Yep. Stand for the flag and kneel for the cross.
Well, look at the way he's holding his gun. Straight thug life. Straight thug life, man. These guys are just, and you know, if they're gonna pull.
Oops, we lost you, brother. We lost you. You're muted.
Even if these people were armed, but to come out here like this with guns like gangsters, we should have a right to shoot back. I mean, I'm not recommending it, but I'm just saying I feel we have a right. We should have a right when these motherfuckers do this shit because we're in fear of our life. What do they do when they're in fear of their life? They pull guns, they lie, they do all this shit. Us, we stand by a pen and paper. So.
Yeah, and to your point, the video I did yesterday showed a man that was apprehending the guy that stabbed 11 people at a Walmart. And they gave all the credit to the police and said that the man helped the police. No, the man obtained the man first and held him there at bay with his gun without firing a shot and held him there at bay for the police to come get him. So whereas that would have been a single police officer, he'd have been shot.
Is that what real men do?
Yeah, that's what real men do. They hold the force to equality. They don't exert just because that man's got a knife and he might stab him to go ahead and shoot him now, like President Trump says, take the guns now and we'll figure it out later. No, you don't shoot him now and figure it out later. Well, you have consideration and decency to have discernment.
Well, I was studying today too, and it shows that before you even go to jail and searched and give them your name, you have to be convicted of the crime. So there has to be a crime convicted. So if you're just going to go to court to fight a case, well, there's no reason why you should be incarcerated. And then for these people to be able to use our tax dollars. So what I would recommend to people is quit registering their automobile, quit putting their kids in schools, quit paying taxes, you know, start growing your own fruits and vegetables as medicine, and quit going to the big pharmaceutical companies. And then we die. I mean, it's like, or not die, but we transfer energy anyways wherever we go from here. And my friend just died a couple days ago from Red Bull and aspirin. They had a major heart attack right in Vaughn's in Big Bear.
Yeah.
And she
Yep.
was
Yeah.
48. She was just saying to my friends and family, Chris, all she wanted was to go to her birthday to a restaurant because she didn't go to her one last year because she wasn't feeling good. So she wanted to make it this year. She died less than 10 days before her birthday. She has kids. She's a grandkid. She's 48 years old. She worked hard. She died at 7 a.m. in a Vaughn's in front of people from Bear and Red Bull, but
Right.
massive heart attack.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's another important aspect of education. You got to learn about your health. That scripture says, know thyself. It also says, heal thyself. These are two very important aspects of your own independent life and the quality thereof.
Well, and right now, Wizard, so I'm in appeals and a lot of shit happened. And the judge is saying all this stuff. Well, they're saying I can have a cannabis church, but people can't get it. I could just have it there. And well, they said because you're not Rasta. Well, a case just passed less than 30 days ago that said you don't have to be Catholic to go to a Catholic church. You don't have to be Catholic to buy a Catholic Bible. You don't have,
Absolutely.
and you don't have to be Catholic to donate to the church. Most of
Right.
all. So
Right.
I'm going through some shit, and then it's saying that the judge spoke as counsel when neither the DA or the public defender objected. And so if you and and then it also shows that the DA actually changed falsified documents. It shows wrong dates, it shows wrong charges. They said I should never have left county jail. They said I should have done less than 10 days. I did a year on level 3 with with people that weren't going home. So
Yep.
they knew what they were doing, put me there for a fucking health and safety code. So now my friends and family are state nationals, and they're like, "Hey, I have a building in Big Bear where the city says that there is like uh, a moratorium or something on them and a ban and this and that." And I said, "Cool. I'm gonna come there. I'm gonna open, and I'll wait for them to come." I've already given the Department of Justice. I've already given the Attorney General. I've given every single sheriff and police department all my documents, denouncing, or not, sorry, I don't want to say that, correcting my status on the land and soil, and that I'm not obligated to their statutes and codes and policies. And here's your fee schedule. About 4 or 5 years ago, people used to talk shit on me about the fee schedule because I said, "Hey, how can we bill these fucking people?" So Anna Von
Yeah.
Wrights, she went, Anna Von Wrights and her husband and her team, the living law firm, they went back and they saw how much the courts are making off your scanning your retina, getting your blood, taking your phone number, and your driver's license, anything that they ask of you, fingerprinting, anything, they're making money or
All
they would not
data.
ask you for it.
Right. It's data elements, and that's a data
Mhm.
exchange. That's what I keep telling everybody. It's the
That's
information you give them, whether it be biological information, personal data elements of where you live, your age, height, stuff like that. They're collecting those data elements, and that is their monetary system. They monetize that stuff because it does have value. And when you learn that as Chris is portraying himself as an American state national, it's basically you're setting yourself up as an equal station in life. So you agree with the enforcement of laws so long as they're reasonable, and that reasonability comes with contract. Contract has equal consideration and equal benefit.
Well, I was told to call the feds if they come and raid me because now I'm
Yeah,
no longer in the sheriff's jurisdiction. Call the feds and say, "Hey, I've got," just like that dude did. But call the
right,
feds and just be
right.
like, "Hey, And so really I could just walk away, Wizard, go get a little gay job and work in corporate and be the slave like I just did for over a year straight since I was out of prison. I'm off probation now, but I said, you know what? I've already waited. I've been down for over 5 to 7 years. I've been rated. If you look, I've been rated over 40 something times. It's all on public record for cannabis. And next thing you know, this time I could just walk away. But I said, nah, I'm just gonna sit there and wait for them to exercise my paperwork and my documents. And
Yeah, because you've got a contract with the federal government now.
right.
Equity imputes an intent to fulfill an obligation. They now have an obligation. See, that's the problem with the birth registration. It's registered in the state. There's no obligation with the United States yet. So when a man steps up and throws off that false dichotomy of dual citizenship and claims his equal station in life, he can form a contract to say, hey, I will give equal consideration for the statute so long as I'm on the clock.
And a lot of these cops, the best thing to do with these pigs is just fight it out in court through documents or whatever. But it's no use fighting these trigger happy slaves on the side of the road that are just waiting to cap someone and have no accountability for it. So
Right.
if anyone's out there getting pulled over or going through the system, try to do it correctly and see what you can learn from it. My friends are like, Chris, you've done so much court. We could put you in the World Guinness Book of World Records. I've been to court, like you could look at my record and how many times I've been to court. It's on public record, numerous times, in and out of handcuffs, challenging jurisdiction. Because to be honest with you, they say, well, where do I send you back to if you're not from here? Well, you send me to a common law court. And what is a common law court? If there's no victim, loss, injury, harm, or broken contract, then all this statutes, codes, policies is admiralty, administrative, and maritime. Every time you go into a room with a gold fringe around the flag, my flag is not a gold fringe flag. My flag is red, white, and blue, not red, white, blue, and gold. So
Correct.
take that shit out of here. Get it out of our courtrooms. Now, if people want it, cool, they can have it. But don't force us in your jurisdiction or your birthday party because I don't want to go. So you're forcing me to get a piece of paper that says I could have a dispensary license. Oh, so if I pay you, you're going to give me a piece of paper that says it's okay. But God already said that it's okay. Somebody that's higher than you, whoever your God may be. So whoever your creator may be. Because I'm not one to say, hey, wizard, if you don't believe in the same direction I go, then you're not going to. That's not for me. But I
I
could
wish
easily lay down.
I wish people would kind of come to the understanding that the only thing we're really exchanging out here is energy.
Yeah.
And that's the actual reality of it all. And the terms on that paperwork. But those people that are getting beat down, if they just learn some calmness and not give these people what they want and act stupid, they wouldn't be getting beat down in the streets. They wouldn't be getting shot. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see that
Wrongs
thing
never
about
made anything right.
the two flags. You know, you've got the military flag, which is the one with the gold fringe. What do you think the other flag is without the gold fringe? That's the civilian flag.
The peacetime flag. I got it in my. I'm opening the
Well,
church.
no,
I'll go.
you're talking a different flag. I'm still talking the American flag without the fringe. That
But
is the true civilian flag. The peacetime flag is the one you're talking about, which comes from the Peace Corps.
well, the flag right now. That's the living. That's why the red stripes are laying down. Still slavery. That's not the. That's the old glory. That's a war flag. If you look at the 13 colonies with the marijuana leaves made out of hemp, that was very old school. The 13 colonies and stuff, or whatever it was, those. But I don't want to fight or argue about flags. I'm just learning
Yeah.
myself because I don't really know anything. I'm just going. What I wanted to tell you is I'm just going to go open, experience it. If I get arrested, hope y'all. I see Kansas City and all these people on the streets doing stuff. And I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. But that's not really my calling. My calling is different. So what I'm gonna do is set up, wait for them to come, try to exercise our paperwork, go to, either go to jail or be set free. And I'm really interested in to see what happens. So
Right.
what I do right now has nothing to do with money. It has to do with freedom and fighting with no gun. Here's my documents. Let's see how true these motherfuckers really stand. And this is where our real protection is. Not sitting on the side of a road yelling at a police officer that's ready to shoot your ass.
Right. And when it comes to that paperwork and everything, remember Prohibition, one of the greatest things that the people learned from Prohibition was the privacy part. They didn't get it good enough, but the premise is that you can have your bar and it can close at 2 o'clock to the public, but you can still have your after hours parties as private venues where you have a membership. People pay a membership to go to the club and
That's what I'm
BYOB.
doing.
Yeah.
Smart. That's what
So
I've got a private membership, and people are like, "Well, where does the $5 go?" Well, it goes to people that the families that don't have daycare. It goes to people that need electric bills. It goes to if we're going on a to Jamaica or somewhere, and we're going and you don't have enough money, but you need a little bit of support. That's what this is for. It's not to go in my pockets to try to be able to say, "Oh, this and that." I really don't care, Wizard. I'm willing to die for what I believe in. And if I could do this for others, if you look on YouTube,
I
the
agree
cannabis
with you.
churches and all this other stuff, I've been a part of this. I helped develop these. My friend was an old school dude that was busted a long time ago with white hair. I think he's gone now, but he's on YouTube too. But he was almost there for the cannabis. And instead, my family are Navajo Indians. They got busted in New Mexico in 2004, 2003. They ended up going to the Supreme Court, and that's who actually did my decals and gave me permission to have psilocybin. It was through their case that they won the 2006 Supreme Court ruling backed by the 1993 Freedom Restoration Act. Now it's backed by the 2023 April hearing that shows we do have a religious freedom. And so I'm not trying to use religion or anything as an scapegoat. I'm saying these pharmaceuticals, this FDA, these people putting shit in our foods without our consent, these are the people that are our enemies, not each other. And so
right.
so sorry about that. Sorry for running my mouth.
No, you're great. I mean, I appreciate you coming up on panel today because this is the kind of rhetoric we're looking for is people that are doing it, people that are out there with the experience, willing to go through even more, you know. And that's why I tell people, you know, I wear this short mustache for a reason, folks, because it's a constant reminder, not just to you, but to me. I don't want to be a Hitler's willing executioner. So I want to change the perspective of what's really happening out there. And the only way I can do that is to change myself and make sure I'm not Hitler's willing executioner and doing what Chris is doing, making sure that I'm doing it for other people. You know, there's a PayPal link down there that you can hit and send me a donation, but I don't depend upon that. I depend upon people like Chris and Russ and everybody that comes up on the panel and wants to discuss this. I depend upon the discussion. So I
And
appreciate it.
so you too, brother. So this right here is really awesome. It's about you can order it. My buddy sells them with like Z plates. I don't recommend Z plates or anything, but stuff like this is really awesome. And then like here's like a few documents, you know, that I did file, and so they wouldn't let me file it here in California, so I filed it in another state on public record. I did it to the United States District Court, Central District of California, Chief Justice Dolly N.G. at 3470 12th Street, Riverside. Also to the California Highway Patrol Commissioner, Sean Durree, at 601 North 7th Street in Sacramento. The Superior Court of California, County of San Bernardino, President Judge Lisa M. Rogan, or sorry, presiding Judge Lisa M. Rogan, 247 in San Bernardino, 247 West 3rd Street in San Bernardino. Also, the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, Captain Kelly Craig, 477 Summit Boulevard, Big Bear Lake. Also, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Shannon D. Discus, 655 East 3rd Street. So this is just some, but I also did to the Attorney General and many more. But it shows a bunch of really cool things. And then another really cool page. Let me see, like articles and stuff like that. Another cool page with blue autograph with a red fingerprint. And then where we filed it right there. So we filed at Winnebago County Recording District Court of Record of the land jurisdiction publicly recorded to alter, ignore, or dispose of it is a felony. And then it is a declaration of sovereignty and independence. And then it has a couple pages. Then you have a California jurat certificate because you don't have a notary, you need a jurat. So if you're going to get something notarized and sent, you want it with the jurat. And then it was so funny, Wizard, because I think about your ass in the mail. And then I got my fee schedule right here. It's an awesome fee schedule. It's fingerprinted. It's also has the notary, so everything. And if any of my stuff was terrorists on paper, it would have already been to our attention years ago because I've been doing this for years. What I do is all by their, everything I try to do is by up to par. I don't try to incriminate anybody or fear anybody, interrogate it. I don't, that's not what
Yeah,
my intention is.
yeah, it's just a mutual mistake. They've been doing things based on certain presumptions. We've been doing things based on certain presumptions. When we clear out the presumptions, we find that we've both been making mistakes. So rather than accuse each other and both end up in jail, it's better to come to peace and let the bygones be bygones and make all parties whole. And that's equity. And that comes in character. If you want equity, you must come with clean hands. You must come with a good spirit, good faith, fair dealings, willing to do your part. The equity imputes an intent to fulfill an obligation, knowing that if there's a multiplicity of suits, equity will take jurisdiction. It all plays together. So glad you're here. But let's get back to the video and Mr. Pipsqueak. Because again, this is one of the younger generations that's going to come up and need your support.
Thank you. And if I go, I'm going to go to open the church. I just want to say if anything happens, I'm doing it for everybody to be able to enjoy the sacraments and freedom without having to have a fucking license to go and do something or permission from a government when there's only one higher creator, and that's the creator, not the government. So thank you for your time, and I'm going to keep watching.
You bet. Absolutely appreciate it, brother.
You too. Peace.
Still on the phone, hang up the phone with him.
After the 911 call, officers reestablished communication over the phone where there wouldn't be a public record. But less than 4 minutes before smashing the window, here's Ray Dean, Georgia State Patrol, promising to give Freeman a lawyer and negotiate a peaceful surrender.
We'll get you a lawyer. You need to come out quick, peacefully right now, okay? Okay, we'll get you a lawyer, but we need you to come out peacefully, okay?
Speaking of peacefully, here's Dean casually playing shoot Freeman in the back.
Here, we only want one shot, obviously, okay?
I don't know if you guys could hear it there, but it said we only want one shot, obviously. So they're one shot is one shot to take him out. You don't have one shot for any other reason but to take someone out. Do you understand what's going on here?
Ron Nesbitt, Tacoma PD, texted Freeman to ask who his lawyer is. Less than 2 minutes later, Freeman texted a response as Dean and Nesbitt helped breach the truck. Warning, graphic content. Police have claimed that they had no choice but to shoot the guy with tasers because he attacked them first. But video shows otherwise. Video clearly shows that Freeman was holding a cell phone when officers smashed the truck window in his face, and that they pointed a taser within 2 seconds. Rather than attacking them, he held his foot up defensively. Potter fired the first shot, and then Trooper Greer in blue drew his taser. Remember, the courts have ruled that
Well, that was a violent attack, wasn't it? So
Sure
violent.
was.
So violent. He was able to withdraw his taser and try to waggle the fucking wires from it or whatever, while another officer was able to just walk up and prepare his taser. It was so violent. Such an attack cannot be had anymore. We've got to put those kind of people down. Fucking bullshit.
Tasers are deadly weapons, and Georgians have a right to self-defense against an unlawful arrest. Yet again, police lied about what happened, pretending they had to use tasers because they were attacked. Police claimed in the newspaper that immediately upon breaching the driver's side glass window, the male subject began punching and kicking officers, as well as throwing glass at law enforcement.
What? What?
Throwing glass.
They were attacked. Police claimed in the newspaper that immediately upon breaching the driver's side glass window, the male subject began punching and kicking officers, as well as throwing glass at law enforcement. They were attacked. Police claimed in the newspaper that immediately upon breaching the driver's side glass window, the male subject began punching and kicking officers, as well as throwing glass at law enforcement. In court, Deputy Nelson said Randy Shirley put his hands through the window, and then Freeman started taking glass and throwing it at Trooper Greer and started punching Trooper Greer in the face. Freeman was fighting, so Trooper Greer tased him. Greer agreed, saying, "Once he began punching and hitting us, I did deploy my taser." For this guy was charged with 4 counts of obstructing law enforcement officers by doing violence. But the video shows that the police story is untrue and that the officers shot first. It's legal in Georgia to resist an unlawful arrest and also to act in self-defense. So clearly Freeman did not immediately begin attacking officers. In reality, they smashed glass in his face and immediately began shooting him with tasers and electrocuting him while he sent a text message and tried to block them with his foot. Is anything that the police said about this case true?
Absolutely not.
No one wants to, but we've got to watch video of police beating up an 11-year-old kid in the Home Depot parking lot of Toccoa, Georgia. Police were trying to arrest the kid's dad for reasons that are weak at best. But whatever you think of the dad, it's clear the kid didn't break the law. Regardless, video shows police holding him at gunpoint before smashing glass in his face, ripping him out of the truck, wrestling him to the ground, and putting him in a
What is the need? What is the need for this? Again, this is the immigrant doing it, Mr. Dondry.
I gotta be careful here what I say. Ooh.
But whatever you think of the dad, it's clear the kid didn't break the law. Regardless, video shows police holding him at gunpoint before smashing glass in his face, ripping him out of the truck, wrestling him to the ground, and putting him in a chokehold. Regardless, video shows police holding him at gunpoint before smashing glass in his face, ripping him out of the truck, wrestling him to the ground, and putting him in a chokehold. But whatever you think of the dad, it's clear the kid didn't break the law. Regardless, video shows police holding him at gunpoint before smashing glass in his face, ripping him out of the truck, wrestling him to the ground, and putting him in a chokehold.
Is this what you want your police doing to your children, folks? Because if you're back in the blue, that's what you do. Your kids are culprits too.
In court, Officer Greer claimed they had to do this because he was still fighting us, kicking and spitting and trying to bite us. No, Greer, he wasn't. Cops just snatched him out and took him straight to the ground. After this, video shows him calmly standing with officers while they dragged his dad away. Here's Jake Palmer, Toccoa PD, savagely beating and tasing this guy for making a political comment. No, Greer, he wasn't. Cops just snatched him out and took him straight to the ground. After this, video shows him calmly standing with officers while they dragged his dad away. Here's Jake Palmer, Toccoa PD, savagely beating and tasing this guy for making a political comment. Here's Jake Palmer, Toccoa PD, savagely beating and tasing this guy for making a political comment.
What kind of trauma? What kind of trauma do you think that boy's going to go through?
Right, and that's 15 punches I counted. The guy was defenseless. Somebody's holding his head down. His feet are underneath him. He can't move. and somebody's punching him in the kidney on his back. Remember the taser earlier? Watch.
You got it. Wait.
Okay. Okay, they hear the taser. Remember that black hand? That's Mr. Dondi again. Remove the shirt so he could tase him on his skin. That's torture. And remember, this is Mr. Dondi. This is Mr. Dondi, the immigrant.
I think that old phrase from Pearl Harbor that they've awoken the mighty giant, I think very soon in this country that will possibly happen, but it will be geared for those people.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to point out is how long are you people going to take it before you start standing up? And when you start standing up, what are your capabilities? Are you going to have the intellect and the education? Are you going to start that now so that when you do get pulled over or when they do come to your door and interrupt you during your boob tube watching somebody else's dramatic life because yours is so exciting while you munch on that fucking processed foods and drink them poisonous drinks? When do you think they're going to come to your door?
Okay, this is why no one with a puncher
And that boy's
tattoo
son
should
had to
bring
sit
in
there and
law
watch that.
Here's another angle. Take a look at Georgia State Patrol Trooper Matthew Vandiver in blue.
Now look at that. Look how much that truck is rocking. As this guy up here is pounding him on the back, this guy's holding his head down. This guy's holding his head down. This guy's pounding him. This guy's on his back pounding him.
It looks like he's about to give him an elbow.
On the left, just raining blows on this guy who didn't commit any crime. Here's Brandy Robinson laughing while Freeman was beaten and tased. After this, the trooper puts the guy in a punishing chokehold for 49 seconds. That's more than half the length of this entire video. Then, once the guy's restrained, we've got video of the sheriff in his boots, literally jumping up and down on this guy's leg. And look at literally jumping up and down on this guy's leg. Literally jumping up and down on this guy's leg. And look at the injuries. He's got blood all over his face and the worst bruise on his back I've ever seen. He had a broken rib and doctors had to surgically remove a chunk of glass from his elbow. Believe it or not, in sworn testimony, when Deputy Nelson was asked if the guy had suffered any injuries, he said the guy was injured from the airbag. Yeah, right! Here's this.
I committed no crime. You know this. You know it.
You charged with many aggravated assaults. You understand that, you stupid idiot?
You're charged with many aggravated assaults. You understand that, you stupid idiot? The guy wasn't even there. The guy is helping enforce bad cop actions.
That guy needs to be hanging in a tree.
Exactly. Simply because he's a cop and he's got to trust his officer said the truth. He's got to trust it. That's what they do. And notice how he's got these gloves on and he's got this guy by the head with his injuries on his forehead. Is that a first responder? Are you not acting as a first responder, firefighter now? When is it you do that?
I understand nothing that you're...
Is this family psychology? Is this building the family up? Is this marriage counseling? Is this how you keep a family together by trying to tear them apart? Throw the old man in jail? Good thing mom's helping him out with this because evidently dad's doing a good job too. Because this guy here, like he said, he's a minister, preaches the word, homeschools his kid. They can't have that. That's what destroys them.
Say.
Okay.
Your officer attempted to kidnap me. He had no reason to initiate a stop.
Sheriff, we got
You're helping him.
Sheriff, Sheriff, we got it, buddy.
And this.
You people threatened to murder children today for no reason.
One shot. We only want one shot, obviously. That was their intent. One shot.
I'd like to know where all these son of a bitches are going to hide.
They can't hide when the people turn.
I know they can't. That's what I'm saying.
Again,
There's nowhere to fucking run to.
And again, I'm not promoting it, people. I'm just stating the obvious that's going to happen. When you corner a dog, he's going to fucking fight. When the fuck do you people think the people are going to stand up against your tyranny? And how do you think they're going to do it?
You crashed my car for no reason.
After
Serving
spending
our
less than 2
citizens.
minutes trying to subdue and handcuff Freeman.
Yeah, see the taxes aren't going to pay for his truck. The taxes are going to pay to fix the cop's car. You know, the one that he sideswiped and jammed him in and blocked him in so he couldn't get out.
Here's a portion of Greer struggling for over
I think it would
4
only
minutes.
take one hanging of these guys to be found guilty and hung that it would change a lot of shit.
Nope. You're going to take a lot more than that.
You don't think so? You don't think if
how many people are they going to kill before,
I'm,
the people catch on? You think they're that smart that one of them gets hung and they're all of a sudden going to catch on? They're just as dumb as the people. When do you people think they're going to come to your door? Just like when do you think they're going to come to your door? Hey, all of you police officers out there, when the fuck do you think the people are going to start hanging you? When do you think you're going to be the next one hung?
And women beaters.
And when do you think you're going to be the next one hung? You have a job that takes the utmost equity, but you assert it as the utmost authority. It applies to thee, but not me. And that's your problem. You don't even know the law. And that's your attitude. You're going to know the law sooner or later. And it's not going to be by judgment of the people. It's not going to be the people turning around and hanging you. It's going to be when you meet the man at the gate. And he's going to weigh that heart. And he's going to say, nope. Eternal damnation. Since you're the Christians, right? Isn't that what you believe? Or maybe you don't believe it. Maybe you're a fake fucking Christian. See, that's why I don't claim to be a Christian. I'd rather just know the truth, no matter who's telling it to me, whether it be a Muslim, Buddhist, Indian, Native. I don't care who's telling me the truth. I don't care. And I don't care what your background is if you're lying to me. None of that matters. The only two things that I distinguish in life is the truth and the lies. Period.
Listen to officers lying to the kid, telling him they wouldn't arrest him.
No, we're not.
Yeah, the kid didn't even do anything. Why would they arrest him? But you know what? Do you think the officers lied yet? In case you haven't been paying attention to the video so far, it's an absolute truth that they lied. Funny how that one works out, huh?
As thanks for his good behavior, Jacoby decided to put the innocent 11-year-old kid in handcuffs and take him to jail.
You have
Then,
to be
just because of
fucking
state
kidding me.
a bastard.
Not at all.
Holy fucking shit.
This is what you're doing, folks. When you believe the police are your authority, Keith, the police are your authority. Guess what? If that's what you believe, then you believe that the police have the authority to handcuff your kid and take him to jail, even though he hadn't done a fucking thing.
Did I hear him say he was 11?
Yep. 11-year-old kid.
He wouldn't have been going to no jail anyway.
Exactly. So why is he being arrested?
Trauma to break his spirit.
Police car on the way.
Bingo.
Through psychological warfare. I ain't got a problem hanging these son of a bitches in a tree.
And I want to point out, Russ, I appreciate your support here too, brother, because I know what you've been through. Russ is one of those ones where him standing up destroyed his family because his family is so indoctrinated. His wife particularly, of course. And the state that supports that is the one that allows that wife to have his children. I think it's pathetic. And that's what I'm fighting for. So I appreciate your support. I appreciate what you've gone through. I appreciate what you're going to go through. I appreciate you doing the things that need to be done.
Well, I appreciate that, but I have a fucking funny feeling that something big's going to happen in this country and some things are going to change. And people like us are going to be on those top spots.
I hope so. We need them.
Just like his dad, he had done nothing wrong. But the police decided to beat him up and take him to jail anyway. According to his mother, the police took him to the jail and questioned him without his parents or a lawyer, and then refused to release him unless she answered their questions. She says police only let go of the kid after she threatened to call a lawyer. Clearly, the kid didn't deserve this. Why aren't the officers responsible facing charges for battering and kidnapping this kid? Here's a video of Tim Kelly talking about how he threatened to arrest a bystander who took cell phone video.
Oh, imagine that. Imagine that, huh? And see, if it weren't for this bystander, we probably wouldn't know this. Remember, the guy's dash cam didn't work, or body cam didn't work, or he didn't turn it on, and he had a pattern of that.
Delete this footage.
Oh, who was?
The old guy back there.
Oh, what's up?
Yeah, that's $50,000 fine and 15 years in prison.
He didn't want to do that, did he?
No.
Told him it was a $50,000 fine and a 15-year sentence, in case you didn't hear that. I know the volume's low there, but he told him that he told the guy that was videoing that it was $50,000 fine and 15 years in prison. He didn't want to stand up to that, huh? Yeah, okay.
This is Georgia too, isn't it?
Was
it? I think I heard it say Georgia. They say the devil went down to Georgia. I think we're seeing some of them.
Yeah, Toccoa.
Here's Nelson, burdened by a guilty conscience, apologizing to Austin Greer.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Hey, he's the idiot. So.
I'd have never said, nah, you're fine. You're fine. He's the idiot, you know. No, I'd have been right on the good cop, bad cop. You trusted your officer, and I'm telling you, he's lying. When you see video, you will find out he's lying. Don't apologize to me. Apologize to God. He's the one you're failing. You fucking Christians.
He's an idiot, man.
Police arrested a guy in the Home Depot parking lot because he said some things they didn't like, and they beat the snot out of him. The guy is charged with violently obstructing several officers, but the claims are highly suspect. First, remember that in Georgia it's legal to resist an unlawful arrest. It's also legal to fight in self-defense, and both are relevant in this case. But more importantly, video shows him not violently resisting. The worst injury any officer received was Jake Palmer, who bruised his own knuckles, savagely beating Freeman in the back. After the beating, he tacitly admitted to another officer he caused his own injuries.
Did he break your knuckle?
Nah, well,
That guy in the clean blue shirt is Austin Greer. Clearly, he isn't injured at all, but in court, another deputy.
And it looks like he's got a good apology in him, doesn't he? As he's sitting there smiling and laughing about the whole thing. So
That's the thing that really gets me. These guys, they think all this shit's funny, man. And I mean, that pisses me off more than anything. These folks act like this is normal practices. This is society. This is the way it's supposed to be.
The guy in the good cop video yesterday said the fun and exciting stuff was the criminal stuff, you know, chasing down criminals and the gunfights and everything. And, you know, it's amazing how the boring stuff, you know, the stuff of being heroes, you know, helping the old lady across the street or getting the lady with dementia back home to her right place, whatever. The problem is that the fun and exciting stuff isn't the stuff that he's appreciating. He says he appreciates the other stuff. Well, isn't that the fun and exciting stuff then? But no, you go on to explain that the fun and exciting stuff, the things that you feel rewarded for in the time, you know, because it's fun and exciting, is the violence. Sick.
He swore that Greer was so badly injured that he had blood soaked through his shirt. He said in his testimony, "I remember he was bleeding because that light blue shirt had blood on it." Of note, Matthew Vandiver also didn't have blood on his shirt. What everyone did have was Freeman's blood all over their hands. And then there's this guy, Tim Kelly, who's on the opposite side of the truck such that no one ever laid a finger on him. But the truck guy is...
I want to make a mention here too. Notice, no gloves.
Still charged with
violence. They were looking for that single shot.
Yet again, basically every single claim the police have made about this case is completely untrue. They're trying to put an innocent man in prison because they beat him up. The question that everyone is asking is, why not just comply? First, remember that Georgians have a right to resist an unlawful arrest, so the guy had no duty to comply. But what was the cop planning to do if the guy had complied? Video shows that the cop was prepared to lie to get both this guy and his son in handcuffs, and also that he was eager to hurt both of them. The cop had his body cam and dashed him off, which suggests that he was planning to do something illegal and didn't want there to be a record. He's also on record lying to excuse doing violence to the guy, and the cop had a gun. It's reasonable to believe that if the guy had pulled over, this cop would have made false accusations to at least arrest both him and his son, and at worst could have killed them and lied to cover it up. It's also very reasonable to think that the guy saved his life and his kid's life by trying to get into a place with witnesses and drawing other officers with cameras to the scene. Freeman's refusal to surrender after the crash may have also saved his life. If he had gotten out of the truck, police would have had a clean shot and might have taken it. Remember Daniel Shaver?
Go towards me!
The only reason we have critical evidence like the guy's 911 call and the newspaper accounts is because he stalled long enough to call them. But really the whole question is backward, asking, why just pull over, comply and get kidnapped? It's like asking, why just let him rape you? Or why not just give him all your money? Or why not just let police break into your house? False arrest is a felony. No one is obligated to just quietly submit to a felony because it might make things easier. That would mean the end of the rule of law. A better question is, why didn't the cop just stop committing an unlawful arrest and leave these people alone? Home Depot cop Donnie Nelson was disciplined for keeping his cameras off. But is this the accountability we're looking for? 2 months after Home Depot, Nelson was given a written reprimand for yet more instances of not using his cameras. That same day, he signed a resignation letter on the sheriff's letterhead. Sounds to me like he was given the option to resign or be fired.
That's the one that they reported earlier. He was not eligible for rehire. Then turned around 2 months later and rehired him.
first, that seems like a big victory. A dishonest cop out of a job. But then, on February 6, 2025, only 4 months after his resignation, Tacoma PD rehired Nelson as a city cop. Nelson falsely claimed on his job application that he had never been reprimanded for not performing his job properly, and
despite the fact that he'd already worked for them before at the county level, county sheriff. This is a public record that they have in their custody. And yet he lied. They knew he lied, and yet rehired him.
had never resigned for any disciplinary reason. We contacted Tacoma PD to point out Nelson's disciplinary record and dishonesty on his job application, and he said, "We do not discuss personnel issues or decisions." So apparently,
Bruce
the penalty for
Carlisle.
attacking innocent
I think Carlisle's a big name.
any disciplinary reason. We contacted Tacoma PD to point out Nelson's disciplinary record and dishonesty on his job application, and he said, "We do not discuss personnel issues or decisions."
We do not discuss personal issues or decisions. If there is a specific public record that you would like, we will be happy to comply with Georgia laws pertaining to open records. So I would suggest requesting those records, which the kid obtained. Evidently, he got those records. This guy's in a little bit of trouble. Little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
So apparently, the penalty for attacking innocent kids and
See, that goes to that trust again, and the fact that there's no good cops. Because if the chief of police is willing to say that kind of shit when it's obvious, 12-year-old kid pulled those files and is showing it to the world. I hope he keeps doing it. And like Russ said earlier, we need better people to fill those positions. So start manning up and educating yourself so that you can. If you want to make sure your children are not kidnapped, beaten up and kidnapped, thrown in jail, then start filling those positions yourself and making sure that it doesn't happen.
pointing guns and being repeatedly disciplined for turning the cameras off to cover your tracks is that you trade a tan county uniform for a Navy city uniform and keep right on policing. Nelson isn't the only Home Depot officer who resigned in 2024. There were 13 officers at the Home Depot when an innocent man was held at gunpoint, beaten, and arrested. Within 6 months, several of them had resigned. First, Nelson was disciplined and resigned. Thereafter, Nelson's direct supervisor, Tim Hill, resigned, and his supervisor, Kyler Jameson, resigned, and his supervisor, Sheriff Randy Shirley, also resigned. So did Tim.
Sounds like it went up the ladder. So who's filling those positions? Somebody else within the department? That's also a bad cop because that's who trained him, was the one that just resigned?
Kelly, Tacoma PD. That's 5 out of 13 resigned within 6 months. Tacoma Police Chief Jimmy Mize suddenly resigned without explanation on Nelson's last day on the job. 1 day after Donnie Nelson's personnel file was released, Chan Caudell, the judge who had ordered Freeman held without bond, reinstated his bond, and then he resigned only a few weeks later. And are you sure you even want the people who are left? The personnel files suggest that they're not the heroes they're made out to be.
They are not the heroes they are made out to be, people. When are you going to see this? When are you going to understand how this setup works? When are you going to understand your own authority is merely your own education? And the more you educate yourself, the more you're able to stand against this tyranny.
Nesbitt's file shows that he had to have his wages garnished to pay child support for kids by 3 different mothers. Angel Dixon had to be reprimanded for posting videos of herself in uniform on TikTok. I don't even want to know what she was doing. Here's Brandy Robinson. She listed her prior job history as cleaning the tanning beds at Video Warehouse.
Amazing resumes. Amazing. Upstanding people, huh?
And Jake the Punisher Palmer had to be disciplined for arguing with his baby mama when he was called out to an alcohol-fueled domestic dispute. These people aren't heroes. They're not even model citizens. They're just whatever trash will accept the paycheck to blindly follow orders. Even Billy Owenby, the Home Depot employee who witnessed the backup, is a former bad cop. His file says he was hired as a jailer in Habersham County despite having once been arrested for stealing from Ingalls. He worked as a guard for a little over a year, received poor performance reviews, and then got fired for putting an inmate in a chokehold. I wouldn't trust any of these people farther than I could throw them, but somehow...
So that's the outlook of bad cops. Going from that $80,000 paycheck, salary check every year, to working for some kind of much smaller wage for part-time at a fucking Home Depot. But at least they're probably more likely to be qualified for the job at Home Depot.
On their word alone, we're talking about throwing productive citizens in prison for life. Let's talk about the outrageous sentencing possibilities in the Home Depot.
Yeah, the productive citizens that do more than just work at Home Depot. You know, homeschooling their children, teaching the Word of God, hitting the hearts of people, trying to turn them to be righteous. We can't have righteous people. We need criminals. The more criminals we have, the more quotas we'll be able to meet, no matter how high they raise them.
Case. Freeman already spent 6 months in jail before being released on bond. Freeman is 40 years old and has a life expectancy of 37 more years, so more than 37 is effectively life. The remaining charges are simple assault for backing out of a parking space carries up to 1 year and $1,000 fine. Reckless driving for going 20 miles per hour carries up to 1 year and $1,000 fine. Felony an officer for driving 1 mile to a parking lot carries from 1 to 10 years and a $5,000 to $10,000 fine. Aggravated assault on an officer with a deadly weapon because police intentionally boxed his truck in and caused a crash, suffering no injuries. It carries from 5 to 20 years and a minimum $2,000 fine. Felony obstruction of an officer by doing violence, 4 counts. Freeman was charged with this because police shot him with tasers, electrocuted him, and beat him nearly to death. Each count carries from 1 to 5 years and a fine of at least $300. Times 4, that's 4 to 20 years and $1,200. Grand total, Freeman facing at least $8,000 in fines and 12 to 52 years behind bars, meaning Freeman faces the possibility of life in prison. Police piled all those false accusations on Freeman within under 30 minutes. So
an hour of this man's life for speaking out against that tyranny. We have to stop this, people. When are you going to wait? How long are you going to wait for them to come to your door? Are you going to wait until you're 50 and have 27 years left? Even if you start at 20, imagine 52 years, you're still set. You got 5 years of life left at the age of 20 for something like that.
tells you what the life of a productive citizen in Stevens County is worth to his government. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, beans for speech, and prison for truth. Here's the good news in the Tacoma, Georgia Home Depot case. But the charge that started it all was disorderly conduct. The grand jury indicted this guy for disorderly conduct on the claim that he said something rude about a cop. The guy
On the claim that he said something rude about a cop. Disorderly conduct. Fuck the police. How's that for your disorderly conduct?
I second that.
Absolutely. Anybody else? Feel free to speak out. That's your First Amendment. Stand up.
If
there was a
anyone's
good-
scared, you can get in my pocket.
If there's any good cops out there, they would show it. Where are they? Where are these fucking heroes?
denies that he said it, but more importantly, the court ruled that the accusation was protected speech. Now, it's true that it's not nice to say rude things about people, but speech is important and we have to protect it. We can't get to the truth unless we hear all opinions. A democracy can survive if all sides aren't fully debated. And here's the thing about speech protections. You don't need them for polite speech. People like polite speech. The speech that people don't want to hear is the speech that needs protecting. Rude about a cop. The guy denies that he said it, but more importantly, the court ruled that the accusation was protected speech. Now, it's true that it's not nice to say rude things about people, but speech is important and we have to protect it. We can't get to the truth unless we hear all opinions. Rude about a cop. The guy denies that he said it, but more importantly, the court ruled that the accusation was protected speech. Now, it's true that it's not nice to say rude things about people, but speech is important and we have to protect it. We can't get to the truth unless we hear all opinions. Rude about a cop. The guy denies that he said it, but more importantly, the court ruled that the accusation was protected speech. Now, it's true that it's not nice to say rude things about people, but speech is important and we have to protect it. We can't get to the truth unless we hear all opinions.
And that's why I do these panels and want people coming up. We need to discuss this stuff, folks. We need these opinions openly aired. We need to express our First Amendment. We need to discuss it. It's an absolute.
Democracy can survive if all sides aren't fully debated. And here's the thing about speech protections. You don't need them for polite speech. People like polite speech. The speech that people don't want to hear is the speech that needs protecting. The U.S. Supreme Court said that speech may indeed best serve its high purpose when it induces a condition of unrest, creates dissatisfaction with conditions as they are, or even stirs people to anger. And more than anything, if we want to have a good government, we need to be able to criticize the government to make it good. The Georgia Supreme Court ruled that the freedom of individuals verbally to oppose or challenge police action without thereby risking arrest is one of the principal characteristics by which we distinguish a free nation from a police state. So this guy's arrest looks really bad for Georgia. The Supreme Court ruled that the freedom of individuals verbally to oppose or challenge police action without thereby risking arrest is one of the principal characteristics by which we distinguish a free nation from a police state. The Supreme Court ruled that the freedom of individuals verbally to oppose or challenge police action without thereby risking arrest is one of the principal characteristics by which we distinguish a free nation from a police state. So this guy's arrest looks really bad for Georgia.
Absolutely. And again, Supreme Court ruling. That's case law. That stands. And we have to comprehend what it means so we can stand.
Thanks to the judge in Stevens County who protected Mr. Freeman's speech. Let's hope the prosecutors join with him and drop the other charges. The DA's office hears you, and they don't care what you think. For months, we've been telling you to call the DA's office and tell them to dismiss the charges against Justin Freeman in the Home Depot case. And you've answered in droves. On July 2nd, Assistant DA Suzanne Boykin, the unelected bureaucrat prosecuting Freeman's case, met with Freeman's lawyer Brock Johnson to discuss. I met with Johnson, and he said that Boykin has received your calls and emails, and that she has watched the news with Mr. Pipsqueak. A handful of protesters gathered outside while the lawyers met in hopes that Boykin would do the right thing.
I think it's a blatant issue of police retaliation. as seen here. And I don't think if it goes to trial that anything will stand. So I think it would be foolishness to continue pursuing it.
But in the end, they were disappointed. Boykin said she would not drop a single charge.
You know, the interesting thing here is that if they don't drop the charges and he does go to trial, how many people is he going to wake up to their lies if he's allowed to show the evidence? See, that's the problem with these court cases, folks. Again, you have to understand how corrupt it is, and that making those representations in those courts through those lawyers, I don't care how good that attorney is. He too is indoctrinated. He's going to go by what the DA puts to him. That's why he talks to the DA directly rather than strictly through documentation proving valid points and valid points of law, foundational principles, the principal characteristics that they spoke of in that very Supreme Court case that the young man just mentioned. We have to understand that the only way we can enforce that law is through our own knowledge. We can't keep going to these attorneys as though they have knowledge. The attorney, the seeking of counsel are two different things. And so the representation in a court is also different than enforcing the law. In enforcing the law, you can seek your counsel, and that counsel is there for opinion and determinations of law only. He is not there for representation. You present yourself by seeking proper counsel and then make the statements yourself. You don't have to get on the stand. And again, this is the importance of understanding the special appearance and the fact that if you appear in that court physically, then that's maintained as a voluntary appearance and therefore granting of personal jurisdiction. This guy is appearing under threats, duress, and coercion, obviously. Therefore, the validity can be questioned and made void upon proper actions. That's that special appearance.
Boykin still insists that this is an attempt to back a truck over a police officer, despite the fact that every person of sound mind can see otherwise. She knows just as well as you do that this charge is false, but she is intentionally bringing it anyway. Why? Because she knows that if Freeman didn't attempt to back his truck over Nelson, then there's no probable cause for the stop, and if there's no probable cause for the stop, then Freeman had a right to resist, and everything else falls apart.
And everything has fallen apart. I guarantee you. If they take this to court, that would be one woman to hang. It's absolutely malfeasance of office at this point. Absolutely. Misfeasance for not following law due to some point of ignorance. But then once that is expressed and she is made known and still moves forward, now it's malfeasance. She could have pressed the charges without seeing the video. That would be misfeasance because she had a lack of knowledge, which she was supposed to do a proper pre-investigation to make sure that the charges are valid. That's her mistaken process. Okay. When she comes forth with this trial and the rest of the world can obviously see, like this young man said, that there is no threats to this man being harmed by him backing out of that parking spot. There was none. Therefore, there is no probable cause. Had she done the proper pre-investigation, she would have known this. Now that she knows and she's still moving forward, that's treason. Malfeasance. At minimum. Treason at its best. And I urge that it's at its best. Because again, no reasonable man would determine that to be what she's claiming it is. Now that she's seen the video and still claiming it. She's the one that's obviously supporting the activities.
Then the county would have to pay for their own foolish decisions. foolish decisions like keeping Nelson on the force and attacking political opponents and intentionally crashing police cars and beating up innocent people. As always, government workers won't take responsibility for their actions. Instead, they're making the conscious decision to put a man whom they know to be innocent in prison for life. And that's dangerous. Founding Father John Adams famously said, "If innocence itself is brought to the bar and condemned, then the citizen will say, whether I do good or whether I do evil is immaterial, for innocence itself is no protection. And if such an idea as that were to take hold in the mind of the citizen, that would be the end of security whatsoever." With this decision, Suzanne Boykin has declared that in Stevens County, it is literally open season for police to hunt, capture, or even kill any political dissenters. That there will be absolutely no accountability for anyone in the government, that your innocence is no excuse, and that no amount of peaceful speech or appeals to reason will correct the problem. If you want more updates on the case or you want to help out, subscribe to this channel and also join the Justice Freedom Resistant Facebook group.
And so there we have it, folks. A young man that has inspired me to do a better job myself. If this is what I'm talking about, then I should follow it. And such a young man being brought up by great parents, again, I give kudos to them as well, helping this child to go through a process of learning and be very observant of what he's seeing, reading, participating in, and know it for the truth and not its absurdities. See, that's what people have been indoctrinated in, is to believe in the absurdities because that's fun and exciting. That's where the drama is. A lot of times this drama that people are having so much fun and excitement with is devastating, not just to one, but to several, to many. I say it's devastating to the entire population because it's got a hold of the entire population's mind. They believe in government. They believe that that government is controlling their mind, when government really means governing your mentality. So if you see yourself as government, as an equal station in life, able to take care of your own affairs, then why would you need to depend upon another government? And that's the problem. You depend upon that government. Therefore, they are going to control your mind. You come out of that and realize you can control your own mind by knowing thyself. And all of a sudden, it's a whole new world. You got to remain in equity, though. You got to come with clean hands. You got to be truthful and honest. Have the integrity that you expect that record to hold, that you've been putting in all these data elements all these years and lying about it, not knowing. I too was a fucking fool. I too was a bitch ass slave. But one day I realized I was the liar. And a man is no more truthful with himself when he admits himself to be the liar. Now he can fix his mistakes. And he's the only one that can. Any words on the way out, Russ? Russ?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was muted. I just, and like I always do, just encourage people to be the change they wish to see, and obviously remember, popularity without a positive purpose holds no value to our children's futures.
Absolutely.
But one more thing on the way out, if anybody's into etymology and all of that stuff, I would suggest, you've mentioned it, Keith, and I've mentioned it quite a few times about the psychological warfare. And look up the word I heart for iHeartMedia and the word verism, VERISM, as in like Verizon or one of them cats. It's interesting stuff. So,
All right.
but the iHeart or the verism, I'm sorry, is the theory that art and literature should strictly reproduce truth. And it's awful similar to Verizon. But iHeartRadio or iHeartMedia used to be Clear Channel.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it. That's
Well, it breaks down to lesbianism. We'll just say it.
interesting.
So it's interesting.
Interesting.
It's
Yeah.
interesting shit.
Feminism that turned into transgenderism worked out great for feminists, doesn't it? I mean, it's
What do you think
woman of
about the
year
three
as a
words?
man. Well, it's woman of the year as a man. You got men,
Mhm.
the transgenders taking over the women's awards in all the different sports and stuff. Not all of them, but quite a few of them. The men are, they just don't want to accept the delusion and insanity the way it is. They want to make a room for everybody. That's that diversity, equity, and inclusion. And sometimes those kind of people just need to make room for themselves in their own little places. Okay? Sure, you can come out in public looking like a woman if you want to, but you can't enforce it on anybody. If you want to be a woman, go to your private place and be the woman you want to be. Because in reality, people don't have to accept you as a woman because reality says otherwise. So in that, I appreciate you, Russ. Again, thanks for coming, brother. Thanks for coming up. And we'll talk here soon.
Absolutely, my friend.
In the meantime, you guys know me. I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back. That's to say, I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you don't respect me. That part's on you. So may your God bless you and love you. We'll see you next time.